was going through the tabs that I have open on my Google Chrome to review what exactly it is I'm going to talk about in this video, and I just realized, there's a lot of LA Kings stuff. Let's get into Los Angeles Kings news, signings, rumors, signing rumors, and trade rumors that all combine into a very big package. So let's get right into it and go over what has actually happened and what actually is in the news. The LA Kings have signed 2 of their top prospects under contract. Now this follows a few weeks after they signed Alex Turcotte to a contract as well. He is a guy that they indeed also locked up in their system. But earlier yesterday, the Los Angeles Kings signed Arthur Kaliyev and Jordan Spence to NHL entry-level contracts. Now, these 2 guys are both players that I absolutely love. And not really for the same reasons. Arthur Kaliyev, I love him because his goal-scoring ability and his goal-scoring potential is so sky-high that there is an untapped high as to what Arthur Kaliyev is going to be able to achieve as he goes on in his NHL, maybe AHL for a part, career. Now, there were many issues with Arthur Kaliyev back when he was drafted in the 2019 NHL Draft. Even though he had 102 points, he had 51 goals and 51 assists in 67 games played in the OHL. Some people said that he was the best goal scorer of the draft. I said personally he had the best shot. I thought that Cole Caulfield was a better goal scorer because in my opinion, Caulfield is a little bit more versatile in how he scores goals. But Arthur Kaliyev's slap shot, one-timer, and accuracy, and overall just ability to hammer the puck was something that I think is probably one of the strongest amongst all NHL-affiliated prospects today, and that includes defensemen. So this guy is crazy, crazy good with the puck. It's just his engagement, his play away from the puck, and everything else about that was not so great, which is why this guy dropped from being a potential top 10 selection all the way down to the 2nd round. And I know I didn't make a Why I Want video on Arthur Kaliyev back then, but that is because Why I Want back then was focused only on the Vancouver Canucks and players that I wanted the Canucks to take, and the Canucks had 10th overall, and I didn't really think that Kaliyev would have been a good pickup at 10th overall, but I certainly didn't see him dropping to the 2nd round, which is where he went. But regardless, Kaliyev is a very good prospect. You can see what he did this past season, 98 points in 57 games. He had 44 goals, he was on pace for the same 51 marker, but he played on somewhat of a weaker team. Also for the American hockey team at the World Juniors, he was really good there, getting some nice passes from Trevor Zegras and all that. If you're wondering, yeah, his last name is Kaliyev, he was born in Uzbekistan, he plays for Team America. On to the other prospect, though. Jordan Spence is a guy that I was really high on back at the 2019 NHL Entry Draft. Playing for the Moncton Wildcats, he was always a consistent, offensively productive right-handed D-man. He's a guy who is Canadian, but he was born in Australia. Also, he moved to Osaka, Japan when he was young, and that's where he learned how to play hockey. So that is a crazy good story to see something like that come out of these prospects. And Jordan Spence has always been a guy that I thought was a very good player for the Moncton Wildcats. So he's going to be under contract too. We'll see what he's able to do going forward. I don't necessarily think any of these guys are going to crack the NHL right away. Kaliyev has a chance, but I wouldn't really bet on it. Jordan Spence, I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to send him back to the QMJHL once more for another year in that league. But those are the 2 prospect signings that the Kings were able to do. Now, onto the rumor side of things. Rick Dhaliwal speculated that Nikita Nesterov is next up on the Los Angeles Kings free agents to sign list. Take a look at this tweet over here. I'm hearing Nikita Nesterov is leaving CSKA Moscow in Russia and is being linked to the LA Kings. Now, the tweet goes over the Canucks and Nikita Tramkin, but that's not what this video is about. Nesterov, though, is a guy who did play in the NHL for a few seasons. He was with Tampa, he was with the Montreal Canadiens, and eventually he went over to the KHL. He spent 3 years over there. He was okay production-wise. He had the A on his sweater for CSKA Moscow the past 2 years, but apparently the Los Angeles Kings offered him a contract 2 months ago as well, a 2-year deal at $3 million per. And he said no. He had an agreement with CSKA on a 5-year extension, and now rumor has it that he's actually going to leave and he's coming to LA. So that is a very weird stream of news, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened because 2 months ago we already had noticed that the Kings had this guy on their radar. It's just, a lot of Kings fans that I saw were kind of upset that they were going after a player of this caliber. Not that Nesterov is bad, but it's just that Nesterov isn't amazing. And on an LA Kings team that isn't super fantastic on the left side of the defense, along with Ben Hutton already leaving, most likely at least, it certainly remains to be seen as to whether or not Nikita Nesterov would be a good signing, or somebody who is just plain and simply better. So, I saw a lot of Kings fans complaining about that, but at the same time, acquiring assets is acquiring assets. Whether or not you're going to be able to trade these guys or package them in deals for draft picks and future assets, that remains to be seen, but that certainly is a benefit when it comes to what exactly you're getting when you're signing these random guys who used to be okay at the NHL level but weren't great, went away for a little bit, and now are interested somewhat, I guess, in coming back to North America. With that, though, we go to our last topic here of Los Angeles Kings related discussion. This is less trade rumors and more just trade ideas. Check it out. This is a piece published here on Sportsnet earlier this week by Josh Beneteau. He goes over the 7 NHL teams that didn't make the playoffs or the play-in series and gives them one important question to address. For the Los Angeles Kings, he notes the idea of familiar faces leaving the team. And this goes over a discussion on Jeff Carter, Dustin Brown, and Jonathan Quick. Why? Well, here's why. The Kings have been transitioning for a few years now, and moving Tyler Toffoli at the trade deadline was the latest sign of that. But this offseason, more pieces from the Stanley Cup years might have to depart to keep the rebuild rolling. 3 players who could be on the way out are Jeff Carter, Dustin Brown, and Jonathan Quick. All 3 carry cap hits over $5.2 million for at least 2 more seasons, and all are in decline, so their values on the trade market won't be as high as they would have been a few years ago. But with only 3 expiring contracts on the team, adding to the roster will require a subtraction, and these 3 could bring back some sort of future asset while opening up a roster spot for a younger player. Like the Sens, the Kings have been accumulating plenty of top prospects in recent years, including Akil Thomas, Alex Turcotte, and Tyler Madden. All 3 of those players could push for NHL jobs as soon as next season. Tyler Madden in the NHL? That'd be interesting. So decisions over which spots are actually up for grabs will need to be made. That could mean heartbreak for fans who still fondly remember the 2012 and 2014 Stanley Cup wins. Now that certainly is a very interesting idea, and one that highlights a point that I think many people have kind of dismissed when it comes to the Kings. Because when you think about the Kings, you think about those guys. You think about Quick, you think about Jeff Carter, you think about Dustin Brown, but the reality is the Kings aren't in a position to win anymore. So the idea of trading away these guys to open up your cap space and get some future assets definitely is one that I think you need to entertain if you're the Los Angeles Kings management. With the youth movement now in full effect, and with the idea of other players potentially challenging for spots, it's totally applicable to me to think about trading away any of these guys. Now, I don't know if you have any goaltending replacements to replace Jonathan Quick, but we noted in a video earlier this year, actually, that Jonathan Quick's play was on the decline as well, so maybe his time is already up. We never know, though. So, whatever happens with the Los Angeles Kings will be up to the ownership, the management, and whether or not they actually decide to do something like this, but it certainly was interesting enough for me to actually put here in this video. So, that goes over all of our Los Angeles Kings news. They have signed Arthur Kaliyev, they have signed Jordan Spence, they may be signing Nikita Nesterov, and The idea of trading away Dustin Brown, Jeff Carter, Jonathan Quick, perpetuated by the Tyler Toffoli trade earlier on, in which they were also able to acquire a prospect which is helping their youth movement, definitely is something that I think is significant enough to think about. So comment down below all your thoughts about these ideas. I hope you enjoyed this video. Social Trollus 99, and bye.